Hold on tight. This is episode 4. However many of you are in for the Quad Club. Hey, why is the seat so warm? Probably because my cat. Diesel, I'm trying to get to work and you're sitting in the captain's chair. You're in my seat. Are you keeping it warm for me? Come on, dude, I gotta get to work. You're not moving. Welcome to Doug In Exile. I'm in my warm seat. This is all the news left over from the day. I got at least 3 stories I got to hit really quick before. This is episode 4 for my Quad Club. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a comment below. Here's Alina Haba. And I'm waiting for these stories some of them are a little bit old, but I just want to make sure that they stick. I want to make sure that they're true, that they're worth covering. So watch this. I'm at the Hill. Alina Haba announces criminal charge against Rep. McIver over ICE facility scuffle. Now, those of you who are going to go over this, we're going to go over this together. It marks the first time that President Trump's Justice Department has criminally charged a sitting lawmaker during his second term. A major escalation stemming from when McIver tried to gain access to the Delaney Hall ICE Detention Center along with 2 other New Jersey Democrats and Newark Mayor Ross Baraka, Democrat, earlier this month. So they broke in. Haba's office previously charged Baraka with a misdemeanor trespassing charge. She simultaneously announced on Monday this charge would be dropped for the sake of moving forward. But Haba said McIver's conduct cannot be overlooked and accused the Congresswoman of a federal crime of assaulting, resisting, and impeding law enforcement. Now you know. Here is McIver's response to that, which I think it's always important to get their side of the story. Here she says, McIver issues statement on charges. Congresswoman LaMonica McIver, New Jersey, District 10, released the following statement responding to charges brought against her. Quote, earlier this month, I joined my colleagues to inspect the treatment of ICE detainees in Delaney Hall in my district. Remember, ICE, these are illegal aliens that she's trying to break or spring, and she's just breaking into Department of Justice property. We are fulfilling our lawful oversight responsibilities as members of Congress have done many times before. And our visit should have been peaceful and short. I just want to say that the J6ers, maybe they were just fulfilling their duties as citizens. This is a break-in. This is trespassing. Instead, ICE agents created an unnecessary and unsafe confrontation when they chose to arrest Mayor Baraka. The charges against me are purely political. They mischaracterize and distort my actions and are meant to criminalize and deter legislative oversight. This administration will never stop me from working for the people in our district and standing up for what is right. I am thankful for the outpouring of support I have received, and I look forward to the truth being laid out clearly in court. No one's above the law. I hope you go to jail. Here's, I love using their words against them. Here's Jessica Tarlov and Jesse Waters on that same subject where she's saying they have a right to trespass. Jesse Waters is going, you don't have a right to just break into the Department of Justice.
It was too
How'd
funny.
that happen for you guys? I don't believe you when you say public opinion shifting.
You don't, yeah, you've made that clear.
Jessica.
Basically, every day now you say you don't believe me, but if you just want to read the data, you don't have to believe me. You can just read what's printed by reputable polling outfits.
You're not allowed to conduct congressional oversight like this. No, it doesn't mean you can just barge into any federal facility. Okay, so you're saying
does this look like this footage of cops and people and them pushing them and assaulting them? Does that look like federal oversight to you? Is that what our founders meant by oversight?
Republicans could just break into the Department of Justice and start rummaging through files looking for the fast and furious evidence? Is that okay? We can just break into any federal facility we want and start looking around? That's not how it works, Jessica. I wish you were a lawyer so you would know better. Now,
I wish you were.
They thought they could get away with it because they've been breaking the law and getting away with it for years.
It is hailing right now so bad. Raining and hailing coming in sideways that I hope I don't lose power. But that was a great point by Jesse. I think Jessica Tarlov got put in her place, but she's saying that sentiment in support of these Democrat trespassers and violent insurrectionists, she says that the support for them is growing, and that's why I want to cover it here and make sure that we're observing culture. Does this grow on the Democrat Party, on the Democrat side? I'm not seeing it because I don't know enough. Whoa, lightning. Here's Trump on the autopen scandal. This is his first released official statement. Joe Biden was not for open borders. He never talked about open borders where criminals of all kinds, shapes, and sizes can flow into our country at will. It wasn't his idea to open the border and almost destroy our country and cost us hundreds of billions of dollars to get criminals out of our country and go through the process we are now going through now. It was the people that knew he was cognitively impaired that took over the auto pen. Now that is an accusation. I believe it's true, by the way, but this is the first time Trump has said it. This means that he's providing a little bit of cover for Biden being an invalid and showing that he's going after the other people. Could be Obama, could be Hillary, could be Biden's assistants, but he's saying, here we come. They stole the presidency of the United States and put us in great danger. This treason at the highest level. They did it to destroy our country. The Joe Biden that everybody knew would never allow drug dealers, gang members, and the mentally insane to come into our country totally unchecked and unvetted. See, Trump is providing him an out, because I think they need Joe Biden as a witness. All anyone has to do is look up his record. And by the way, with presidential immunity, you can't go after Biden, and Trump knows it. So he's going to go, look, I'm going to use Biden instead. I'm going to clear his name on this and go after everyone else involved. Something, that's my commentary, by the way, that's my opinion. That's not what they're saying. Something very severe should happen to these treasonous thugs that wanted to destroy our country but couldn't because I came along, make America great again. That is very interesting to me. Now here's Jake Tapper lying to Megyn Kelly even as he's trying to confess the truth.
Knowing what I know now, obviously, I feel tremendous humility about...
It's not humility, buddy, it's shame. Humility is a good attribute that I wish you had.
My coverage, that Laura Trump interview, for example, etc.
We'll
She saw something that I did not see at the time. 100%.
Why did she see something that you didn't see? He will not explain why. Why? Is it because Laura Trump is a genius and you're what, not aware? It's not like it was controversial to say that you saw Biden's decline. Why did she see it?
And I own that. I did ask Joe Biden to be transparent about his health records in an interview in 2020. I did ask him about the fact that voters
but then he wasn't.
Thought that he was not transparent at all. No.
He promised you that he would be transparent about his health records, and then he wasn't. And when you sat with him again,
at all.
including 1 month after the Jackie Walorski thing, you didn't ask him about it. You didn't follow up on the fact that he was falling up the stairs, that he was losing his train of thought regularly, that he was slurring, that he was incomprehensible, that he was getting lost on the White House lawn. You sat right across from him and you asked none of that, notwithstanding the fact that he had promised you he would be fully transparent about his health issues.
That's true.
That's true. Thank you. That's where the bias happens, right? He knew what he should have asked, what he would have asked any Republican, anyone else, but he's a Democrat and he wants Biden to get elected. He wants to cover for him. He wants Trump to look bad and Biden to look good. So simply, you do not follow up with tough questions. This is what happened with Karine Jean-Pierre. This happens with every single journalist. And when 92% of them are Democrat, you have 92% of them never following up on a tough question. And then every time it's time to go against Trump, it is full machine gun, full hammer, impugn his character, everyone in his administration, 92% of the time. That's how this works. And Jake Tapper's going like, what? I didn't do a follow-up. No, that is your whole job, she's saying. And she's right. And Megyn Kelly, I hate to say this, but even she is being too deferential and soft on Jake Tapper. We've seen Megyn Kelly yell before. She should be yelling at him.
But I did ask him about his age and the fact that the American people had concluded that even though he said whenever anybody brought up the subject of his age, watch me. And I said,
yes,
they're watching you and they are concerned that you were too old for this job.
But
you
know as well as I do that there's a way of, you can say, hey, there's this poll on your age, or you could say, you just forgot that Jackie Walorski was dead. You asked where she was moments after watching a videotape tribute to her. You lowered the flags at the White House after she died. This happened 13 days before you sat with him. There is a way of pressing a man like that on the actual infirmities to bring it home to him and to the audience, and you didn't do it.
That's correct. I didn't.
That's correct. Also, he agrees with her, and you didn't do it. And again, we have to ask why. It will not occur to Jake Tapper. He never goes why. He never introspects. This guy is arrogant. He's like a wall. You know what? It's not that hard. If someone catches me, if someone caught me cheating on my taxes going, Doug, look, this figure does not add up with this figure. You cheated. And all I'd have to say is, you're right. I was wrong. I cheated. That's what I want to hear from Jake Tapper. And until then, he's lying. He's still lying. He's covering up his lie with a lie. He's going, look, I did do it. I did. No, you didn't, dude. You publicly walked around and you pulled down your pants and you shamed yourself. You look like a moron. You can't simply say, I was wrong. I tell my audience I'm wrong all the time. I go, guys, I thought Mike Johnson would do this and this happened instead. I thought this would happen. I thought this guy was a criminal and he shakes out to be pretty right. Or this guy, I trusted Mike Pence and I was wrong. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I don't have to even apologize. Just at the very least going, I was wrong. I lied to you. Jake Tapper, he lied. And now he's lying, claiming that he didn't lie.
And like I said, I feel humility about my coverage.
It's not humility. Humility is complimenting yourself. Hey, everyone, I show humility. It's a biblical attribute, by the way. And I want you guys to know that I show humility. I show humility. I'm the lowest guy I know. I think the least of I'm down here. I'm humble with humility. I show my humility. Well, you are humiliated by me. Terrible. I've shown humility. I've been humiliated. No, you haven't been. And you should be ashamed. Shamed.
I mean, it's not like I was asking him his favorite movie or his favorite color. We were talking about Putin. We were talking about other issues of national importance. But yeah, I mean, of course, I've said I look back at my coverage with humility and I wish I did cover the.
He loves being thought of as a guy with humility.
Issues of age and acuity, but I wish I had covered them much more. And I wish
not just covered them, Jake. It's not covering them much more. Why didn't you quote unquote cover them? You actually refused to cover them. You covered them up.
I mean, of course, it's May 2025. Do I wish that in that 10, 15-minute interview I had with Biden in October 2022.
Now he's downplaying it. I only had 10 or 15 minutes of one interview. Go easy on me, Megyn Kelly. No, you had one shot.
That this had been the only subject because I had then.
Well, it wasn't
what I
just
know
that
now.
though, Jake. It wasn't just that. I mean, you sat with him a couple of times in the course of his presidency, and these issues were not pressed. Well, there was at least that time, and then there was the time at the beginning. And but separate and apart from that, you covered the Biden's presidency. No. Let me just finish my point. You covered the Biden presidency.
I had one
okay, right, and it was 13
presidency.
days after the Jackie Walorski thing. But you covered the Biden presidency aggressively throughout the 4 years, and you didn't cover mental acuity hardly at all. I mean, time and time again, when issues came up, you seemed to be running cover for the president.
That's what's important. And that's why that's not humility, Jake. That's pride. Jake Tapper is showing pride now, not humility.
I don't think
interested.
That's true.
Well, I mean, we'll start with the Laura Trump issue that you referred. Here it is. This happened in 2020.
Joe Biden, as we all know, has worked to overcome a stutter. How do you think it makes little kids with stutters feel when they see you make a comment like that?
Wow, look at that. Wow, the journalist showed up. Jake Tapper, the journalist, showed up and just made a fist and goes, President Biden, who has a stutter, and you say that is cognitively impaired. And then Jake Tapper goes, how do you think you make little innocent stuttering children feel, you monster, is what he's saying. That's how Jake, the journalist, shows up when it's against Trump and against Trump's daughter-in-law. That's his daughter-in-law. And the stink wore off on her. And Jake goes, he knows, attack it, get it hard. You're remotely within a whiff of Trump. Boy, someone's in the whiff of Biden and it's cover-up time. It's time to serve ice cream. Biden, what flavor of ice cream are you eating? This guy, is this humility to you guys? Look at this tough guy. Tough guy, Jake Tapper, goes in to hit Laura Trump hard. This is what I hate about every artist I know who's a Democrat. Oh, you're real brave. How hard is it to culturally go after Laura Trump? Oh, you're real brave. It was easy for you. It cost you nothing. You get nothing but rewards and raises for going after Trump, rednecks, white people, anyone on the right, Elon Musk. You're not brave. You can raise your voice against him. Culturally, you're not brave. You're a coward. You're a coward. Attacking people against gay marriage, attacking people against abortion. You go in with the cultural bravery and covering provided you, knowing you'll keep your job. Basically, you pre-win the argument just by showing up on your side. You don't have to articulate anything. And then you act brave, or you think you have humility when you're a coward and you're proud, Jake Tapper.
First and foremost, I had no idea that Joe Biden ever suffered from a stutter. I think what we see on stage with Joe Biden, Jake, is very clearly a cognitive decline.
Okay.
That's what I'm referring to. It makes me uncomfortable
You are
to watch somebody on stage search for
that's so
questions.
amazing.
You're trying to tell me that what I was suggesting was
I think that you
stuttering.
were mocking his
I had no
stutter.
idea, Joe
Yeah,
Biden.
I think you were mocking.
I think you're mocking his stutter. Look at how accusational, how brutal he is, and dismissive. Okay.
Mocking his stutter, and I think you have absolutely no standing to diagnose somebody's cognitive decline.
And it's very concerning to a lot of people that this could be the leader of the free world.
Okay.
That is all I'm saying. I genuinely feel
Laura
sorry
Trump.
for Joe Biden.
I appreciate it. I'm sure it was from a place of concern. We all believe that. Laura Trump, thank you so much.
Well, I'm sure it was from a place of concern. We all believe that. That SOB was being sarcastic. This is why I say push his head in the poo-poo and do not let it up. You have to keep calling this out. We have to get this to culturally move and push this out. Do not let up on this guy, because it is apology time. He's going to double down on it. If Biden won, he would still be doing this to the Trumps. He's going to change now because he got caught. He's not sorry, and he's not humble. He has not been humiliated. He's a proud coward, and proud cowards, when they realize someone else is in power, now it's going to be like, we really have to do our job better here at CNN, guys. We really have to. If I hadn't been caught, I'd be throwing Elon Musk in jail and advocating for making him into hamburger and sausage so we can all eat him. But we lost, so I'm humble now.
So much.
Do you want to apologize to Laura Trump now?
I've already apologized to her. I called.
Okay. Oh, I've already apologized to her. I've called. Now, this is another BS move. Okay. He might have personally called her, but he publicly made the statement about the stutter. He has not publicly apologized. That's why Megyn Kelly has to ask you, will you apologize to her? Oh, I called her, and in privacy with a cone of silence where no one else could hear it, I apologized to her, but the public knows I did not apologize to her publicly. You need to write another mea culpa book called, not original sin, but I committed the original sin. I lied. And I don't even, I'm not even angry at Jake Tapper, guys. You hear me raise my voice and you hear me get all bitter and stuff. I'm not angry at Jake Tapper. I'm angry at culture, the cowardice of a culture for which he is merely one spokesman of millions, the left half of America, the people I meet in the arts, the Democrats I even know at church. They do the same thing. And I'm not saying that the right is humble, because believe me, we have to repent in our hearts. My goal is to not become this guy. We have to make sure that when we're caught, we apologize. We have to make sure that we find an opportunity to be low when we're wrong. Be low. And this guy, this is, I can't even, we're only halfway through this clip. We're less than halfway through this clip. I can't watch the rest of it. He's so painful. There's a little more news. Look, I can't even cover this. There's so much news. This is Senator Rubio. I'll just pull one quote from it. In his speech on Trump's trip to Saudi Arabia his speech was one of the most profound foreign policy speeches in American history. Let that go down in the history books to all the Trump haters. Quote, "It is a great honor to work for a president who literally spends half his day, maybe more, trying to stop wars. Our president is a builder, not a bomber." That's coming from Marco Rubio.
You got to see the president's speech in Saudi Arabia. I think it will go down as one of the most profound foreign policy speeches in American history. And where it outlined a vision for the future and a vision of prosperity. And I tell people, we have a president of peace. In fact, I'll tell you kind of an aside,
he's a president who stops wars. There, I'll do the shorthand for you. Now, all of the left predicted that Trump did everything wrong in Saudi Arabia. Jake Tapper, all of the media said Trump did everything wrong. His polls are failing because of it. Here's John Fredericks on Trump's polls being great because of what he did in Saudi Arabia and the Middle East.
Well, I got to check these new polls out. President Trump on the rise again. This is unbelievable. The fake news media tries all they can do. They try to tear him down. Tariffs are going to end the world. Everybody's going broke, eating out of a garbage can. Trump's the worst president ever. Guess what? Polls now going through the roof. He's got 4 polls that came out this weekend. The lowest one, his approval rating is 47%. The highest is 50%. Polls released today by the Morning Consult, Rasmussen Reports, and Harvard. Harris, ooh, there's a conservative poll. Harris and Harvard, yeah, got that one. Trump's approval rating of 48%, 49%, and 47% respectively. Now the Daily Mail, another liberal left-wing rag, they've got their poll at Trump's approval at 50%. So despite all the doom and the gloom and all the headlines.
Trump's one of the most popular presidents we ever had. That's got to drive the left crazy. I thank Mr. Fredericks for that coverage. I love his polls work. How about you? Here's, I'll do a quick clip. I'm not playing even the whole clips on these guys. I'm just trying to get through the news. Here's Caroline Leavitt on his successful trip. When he went to Saudi Arabia, the Middle East, the world said that while Biden was in office, it was like the lights went out. They were covering up for him so hard, they could not get any communication from America. It's like when you fly over North Korea and there's no lights on because they blacked out because he was so incompetent, they couldn't have him communicate with other countries.
I will summarize the president's trip with an anecdote that I heard directly from a member of one of the foreign delegations. I asked him how hopeful their country was when they learned President Trump won the election. And he told me when President Trump won the election, it was like the lights turned on in a dark room. For the past 4 years to the rest of the world, America was dark. We were unresponsive. We did not pick up the phone. We did not return calls. All of that has changed under the leadership of this president. And I think the world saw that last week with this historic and wildly successful trip. And the work continues.
Let's just say, Trump, that was a huge success. Biden was a massive failure. The whole world knew. Remember how every time a Republican runs and a Democrat wins, the Democrats are going like, we need the Democrat. One of the reasons why we need this Democrat president to win is so we can repair our reputation in the world. So we can repair the damage that the last Republican did in the world. That's what Biden ran on. And now we find out the rest of the world was damaged. The lights were out. We didn't communicate. The true repair around the world is from Donald J. Trump. Your media lies to you because the media and the culture hate you. They lie because they hate you. Final little tweet here just to give you to make this episode a true machine gun before I part ways with you and see you again tomorrow with 4 more videos. I hope you'll subscribe. 300,000 of you watch this show and have not subscribed. Please subscribe. Help get me to 1 million subscribers. Look at this one. This is, if you like, this is machine gun news, guys. I'm here to pound the news. This is Mike Davis, who we love, just giving you some stats on why the Democrats are clogging up the borders and the legal system with with forcing Trump to put these illegals through the court system, because there are at least 10 million illegal aliens in America. That's a conservative number. A court hearing for each would take at least 30 minutes. A judge would take at least 30 minutes to draft and issue an order. That's the order that they claim to need before they can deport. That's at least 10 million hours of judicial work. There are 677 authorized federal district judges. That equates to 14,771 hours for each judge. Let's presume each judge works 2,000 hours per year. I think that's generous. If every federal district judge in America only worked on deportation cases and nothing else, it would take more than 7 years to get through the backlog. Let's hope the Supreme Court understands the American people never agreed to this. What happened to justice delayed? You know, justice unserved is justice delayed. It's justice denied. That's not at our founding. That's not after the Civil War. That's not in any subsequent legislation. Certainly not after this last election. That is, your Supreme Court has to understand reality. Reality is, if you follow the rule of law, you're going to do justice delayed and justice denied. Just for a conservative number of 10 million illegal aliens, you want it to take 7 years. It's impossible. They know it's impossible and unworkable. That will break the Constitution. And it goes to have all of us undermine the Republic, because you look at the Constitution and go, it doesn't work. It doesn't function. It can't work. So then you're undermining the Constitution. That's why we're doing the news here, guys. Thankful you guys watched. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm Doug in Exile.